Hello everybody. I am doing a video on a filter water separator for my outboard motor. I've done a lot of research on this and it's a key thing. I live in Florida and I think no matter where you live, if you own an outboard motor, you probably need a fuel water separator. And there's some real good reasons why to have one. It keeps your motor running better. It takes the water, it separates the water out of the out of the fuel, um, and it filters any kind of debris that could be in your tank. Where I live, it rains a lot, so I needed it, and I've needed it since I've owned I've owned the boat for maybe 3.5 months, 4 months. It's the first boat I've ever owned, but I've done everything I possibly can to be safe because I want to be safe when I'm out in the water, meaning I don't want to be stranded. If I'm stranded, I'm stuck. My wife and I would have to be paddling at least to somewhere where we could tie up the boat and call somebody to tow us. That you don't want to pay for a tow, and or you don't want to be stranded. Period. Eventually, I want to make my way into the ocean, not far out. A quarter mile, half mile offshore. There's a lot to explore down here, and so I've been trying to make sure that everything we do is safe, and this is why I've added a fuel water separator, and or I'm going to add one. I bought it today, and there's other reasons. It keeps your motor. You're not going to ruin your motor. You could ruin your motor without one. Um, and I know that there's water getting in my fuel. I'm sure there is, and hopefully we'll see how much it changes the sputtering and different things. So I'll show you what I bought. This is what I bought. Um, I bought a. Let me turn it this way. Sorry about the light reflection. I'm trying to prevent it. I think they call it a raker. Let me read it. It says made by Parker Raker. So this is what I bought. It's smaller. I only have a 35 horsepower motor. I didn't think I need one. They have some that are much bigger. I didn't need a big one. But here it is. It's got your fuel lines in. It's got the bowl on the bottom. I wanted the bowl. After doing a lot of research on them, I wanted the bowl because I want to see what's going on, and I want to be able to drain it whenever I need to. So on the top, it looks like you can go fuel in, fuel out in different directions, and I'm going to figure that out tomorrow when I have some daylight. Close off the vents that I don't need and run it in the way I need. A lot of videos that I see are confusing on the way you hook up the lines, and typically you go from tank to your fuel line into this, then from this your fuel line to your primer bulb, then your primer bulb to your engine. So if that made sense, hopefully I didn't make it even more confusing. But after doing research, you want to buy a good one. This cost $94, which is quite expensive, but there's a lot of cheaper ones on the market, and so this is the one I went with. I bought a few things, so I got a little baggie here full of stuff. I don't know what I'm gonna pull out, but I bought some stainless steel bolts. I don't remember the size, but anyway, I bought some stainless steel bolts to be able to bolt it on through those two. I'm going to bolt it on somewhere in the back. Tomorrow I'll make a video and decide on where the best position is, because I'd like the primer bulb to be accessible and, you know, all that great stuff, and have enough room to pull my tank out, disconnect it if I needed to fill it up. Bought some air fresheners for the car. What else did I buy? I bought some stuff today. I went to what is it called? Northern Tool and Repair. Bought a new tape measure. Anyway, that has nothing to do with it, but it's in the bag. I'm trying to find the parts for this. Let me see. I bought some zip ties. Always come in handy. This is what I'm looking for. I bought the barbs. I would have preferred stainless steel barbs, just because, you know, brass doesn't corrode really like if it was steel or something, but I would have preferred it. Anyway, I bought the barbs. So I have all the parts to do it. I'm gonna tomorrow when I get home, I'm going to look at where a location and stuff like that. You know, there's some other things I'm going to go over in this video based on what I do when I fuel up. And what I do typically is, if we're going out, I'm left with maybe a gallon of gas when we go out. I have a 6-gallon tank in the boat that's hooked up to the motor, and then I have a 5-gallon tank that I fill up and bring with us. One thing that I thought was great was my brother-in-law he showed me, it was one of these measuring containers for fuel, and from what I know, I want it to try to focus on here, but let me see if it will focus. From what I know, typically you do 50-to-1 on pretty much all outboard motors, and mine, I would go to gallons of fuel. I do 5 gallons or 6 depending on what I'm doing, but typically I'm filling up my can, and so I'll go 5. That's how much oil I put in. I try to be really precise with it because it does have a factor in how well your motor is going to run. So I love this can. I bought the proper oil for my motor. Again, the main, you can see I got the boat way across the yard. I'm trying to keep it close. I don't think I'm going to be able to focus in on it, but it's hidden behind the bushes there. But the main reason why I'm doing this video is because tomorrow I'm going to be installing it. I just wanted to go over a few things. Trying to think if I forgot anything at this point. I did go with a better quality filter. It was expensive, but if you do your research, don't buy a cheap one. Most of them I see have a tendency to leak. This is a better quality one. So we'll talk about it tomorrow a little more. Well, I'm enjoying my night, having a couple beers, and I'll show you tomorrow when I get home with some daylight what I'm doing, where I'm going to mount it, how I'm going to do it, where I'm going to cut my fuel lines. I think my fuel lines already have hose clamps on them, so I may not have to cut it. We'll have to check it out and see, you know, where the primer bulb is and everything. I do have some clamps, so we'll check it out tomorrow. Thanks for watching.